Hello there, beautiful dear soul ones, welcome. In this video we are going to talk about transmuting and releasing anger. This is the 6th video of a series of how to transmute and release our emotions. Okay, anger. Anger perhaps could be one of the most difficult and testing emotions for some of us. And it's, in my opinion, is definitely one of the most important to fully release, fully acknowledge and let go. And sometimes anger is one of the ones we have the most resistance with. So releasing anger can happen in different ways. We can release anger in an unhealthy manner, which could look like someone had triggered something inside of you and you just start, shouting to them in an angry manner and putting your emotional baggage really onto that innocent person who is just kind of living life. And that's a very negative way to deal with our anger emotions, because it hurts us, it brings our energy down, it obviously hurts the other, brings the overall energy down. So we really need to look at more healthier ways how we can transmute our anger. When we keep anger bottled up inside, so in a lot of, especially like in Asian countries, it's improper to share anger or frustration or of these things, right? And a lot of times we suppress our anger, like, ooh, I shouldn't be angry about that because then that makes me a bad person, or oh, then they will judge me for being angry about that, or then I'm not being a total monk archetype, or whatever is going on in your head. But sometimes there's a story we tell ourselves why we can't fully feel anger. So then the next step would be finding a healthy way to release anger. And this could be released in many different ways depending on your particular person. Anger sometimes just needs to be released by punching a pillow, like really getting into the anger, imagining the situation in person and just punching a pillow and just shouting and just like becoming this animal, if you will, and just fully embracing what is the archetype of anger and just going for it and releasing it. Some of us are good at releasing anger through exercise, boxing, running. Some of us, it's really good to do it through music, through song, or just expression, shouting in the mirror, recording it, recording your shouting, just speaking to the stars, to the universe. Asking a friend or a counselor if you could just like unload your baggage, but sometimes we would like to talk how angry we are about a situation and express that to another living being who can witness that. But in those moments, it would be fruitful to say, hey, my beautiful friend, I just want to express some anger and just let it go. And if you could witness that, and I'm not attacking you, I just need, someone who can just be there for me with it. I don't really need any advice whatsoever. So really communicate what you're going to be sharing beforehand, so that your friend or practitioner can be there fully and attending to your needs. But you need to know what your needs are beforehand, so that can be done in the most safest container and productive container. Some of us release anger through dancing, expression again, writing a letter to ourselves or to that person or the situation, etc., etc. It'll all be different for each and every one of us. A lot of times, I will give a hint, a lot of times, whichever your manner is to connect to your higher sources, say if you're a dancer or you're a singer, whatsoever, then that may be the way that will be most beneficial for you to release anger. Releasing anger might also need to happen multiple times, different layers, right? The first time a big explosion, then smaller and smaller. There can be many different layers. It could take time, just not one time. Perhaps you have to go through it 5 times. Perhaps it takes you a month. And perhaps it goes the other way around. Perhaps you can be angry a little bit and allow yourself to be more angry until there is the full release and explosion. It really depends on, how you're put together, your karma, your life, this lifetime. So be gentle with yourself that, it's okay if it doesn't just happen straight away. These things sometimes take time, especially when we're doing it for the first time. It takes practice, self-allowance, self-acceptance, compassion and understanding. Anger. So the most beneficial thing is a healthy release of anger. And for those of you who struggle with anger a lot, because some of us do, if we have a lot of fire in our sign, if we are in Ayurveda, a Pitta archetype, if you look at your natal chart, and depending on what's there, some of us are just more prone to anger, and it's good to know that about yourself. If you're more prone to anger, then you can bring extra awareness. If we're holding on to too much anger, it can come up in our liver, which isn't very good. Even into our spleen, we can hold that emotion. So really being aware that we're not holding on to this anger. For example, with my charts, I have a lot of fire and a lot of masculine sun energy within my chart. So I'm more prone to anger and to fire, and I've been aware of that, and I've been working on myself for a long time to make sure I don't go there. And how to transmute it and be aware of that. And by being aware that we're more prone to it, we can also have more self-understanding and compassion. That's kind of just how we are, and that's okay too. Some of us are more fiery, and some of us are more emotional, and some of us are all these different beautiful, amazing shades and colors, and that makes us so unique. There's nothing wrong with us if we're angry for a moment, or if we're more prone to anger. We're all beautiful living beings. So yes. So again, with anger, we can go through the 6 different levels of transmutation: being present, releasing, taking responsibility of our anger. Usually when we are angry, it's because someone hurt us. Someone did something and it kind of hurt us. And instead of being vulnerable and soft and saying, wow, you know, those words really hurt me and I got emotional, instead of sharing that, sometimes we jump to anger. And anger is like kind of putting on the ego and defense. Like, oh, you're a bad person because you did this and that and that. And really not. Really something, inside we got really emotional, or maybe some old trauma popped up because of something, but we kind of bypass or don't want to look at our own shadow, and so we jump to anger. Anger is also usually connected to blame, We're always pointing the finger, I'm angry at you. But remember to take responsibility for your anger. Why are you really angry? Usually because we haven't healed certain areas of ourselves. Or that people are reflecting you, You may get really angry when someone says, whatever they may say, like, yeah, I know it all. I know everything, I'm fine. Oh yeah, you really think you know it all? And that really just flames you up. And that's really an opportunity to see, why did you get angry there, There really shouldn't be many reasons for us to get really angry. It means that there's something to heal, an opportunity to release. For example, someone pushes us against the shoulder by accident. They walk by and we got really angry. And our first reaction is, oh, that man pushed me and now I'm hurting and it's his fault and what did he do to me? And perhaps if we can take some time really analyzing ourselves, really looking deeper into ourselves, we may find that, when we were younger, our mother, every time we said something wrong, used to push us on the shoulder, and that was the way that she kind of disciplined you. So this reaction of someone just by accidentally softly bumping into your shoulder, just gave you this reaction. And you got really angry and you wanted to blame this guy and it's his fault and all of this is going on, but really you've given your key away for another person to trigger you to be angry. And if we really take the time and reflect and depict what's going on, maybe we can go back to this trauma we had when we were younger and take a moment to heal it, and take a moment like, oh, I am a good person. Yeah, maybe that wasn't the right way that my mother tried to discipline me. I forgive myself for taking it so personally and thinking that I wasn't good enough during that time, and I also understand that she was doing the best that she could and just showing me and trying to discipline me with the most love that she could, with her history and her baggage that she has, and go back there and heal it. And there are many different ways we can do this. Through our meditation practice, or with help with a practitioner, hypnotherapy, regressions. There are many different ways, energetical healings, etc. Yeah, anger. And anger can really sit in us. When we really don't release it, it can bubble up inside. And then we can have this really unhealthy explosion. So this is probably where a lot of people struggle with anger. And again, one of the biggest things is just allowing ourselves to be angry and not judging like we're a bad person to be angry. Because if we allow ourselves to be angry and look into it, we're actually giving us a chance to heal, let go of that, and never be angry in that same situation again, or less angry the next time, and less and less and less until we can fully heal it. All right? So, I guess the notion is embrace and invite uncomfortable emotions because they're opportunity for expansion and growth. So, thank you for tuning in to this short little video about anger. And I hope you like this series. Check out the other videos if it calls you to. Thank you for tuning in. Wishing you a beautiful, angerless, hopefully, day.